Happy Thursday. Um, I'm going to cover the news, Indigenous Patriot news. But the first thing I'm going to talk about real quick is the RNC convention. They had Richard Grinnell on there, and he's the acting intelligence head, and he shits on the whole Russian collusion issue, even though we had the bipartisan Senate panel that came out that confirmed that the Trump campaign had more to do with trying to obtain the dirt than they claimed from the Russians. Okay, so the Democrats need to get on it, because after watching these 3 nights of the RNC, it seems like the Democratic brain trust is thinking that the general populace is going to go out and fact check these people and not see that that what they're saying isn't truthful. Okay, we're assuming that this media that these people have been taught to not trust, to question, even people that generally in the past would listen to the things that the media stated, have trouble knowing who to get their stories from and who not to. That they're assuming that this general populace is going to do the legwork that they should be doing. Okay, it's my opinion that things like the Mueller report should have been released unredacted, that we should be going step by step and taking these people through what the law is and what was broken on it, okay, instead of just mouthing something and hoping that we are either going to believe it or we're going to do the research ourselves. I do the research, okay, but half of the people that I know in person don't. How do they know that Obama ended a recession as he came into office, and that the job numbers are because of actions that he instituted, which then started slowing in 2016? How do they know that? We can say the things that we want to say, but you need to present primary documents, and you need to stick by them instead of going on and censoring. And there also needs to be some people, if democracy and the future of our country really is at stake, there's going to be some people that are going to fall on their swords and come out and state things that generally we don't know. And hopefully, as we head towards November, maybe that's part of the Democratic plan to blitz just before the election, just like the WikiLeaks stuff when that came out towards Hillary, even though a lot of it ended up being sensational, and she never got convicted for anything because she barely did anything of note. It still really hurt her election chances, I suppose. Maybe that's the thing that they're trying to do. But I saw earlier on the Young Turks where they stated that Donald Trump has a really good ability to troll people, and he's using his presidency and the people that he's instituted to come on and testify in his benefit. How are you going to counter that? You need to get on it. Present information in a clear manner. Put it out there to everybody. Don't hope that other people are going to do the job for you, or you're not going to get elected. Okay? That's just what it's going to be. I give like a 65% chance that Donald Trump's going to be reelected, and I feel like that's a conservative number. In any case, let me discuss the news real quick. I'm going to try to keep it simple. First article I'm going to talk about is Biden. Burning down communities is not protest. This is 42% left, 25% center, 33% right. I'm going to go with the Hill. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden on Wednesday pushed for calm amid an outbreak of violent protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin over the police shooting of a black man, saying that destroying property and burning down neighborhoods will not achieve racial justice. Speaking into a camera for a video he released over Twitter, Biden expressed anger over the police shooting of Jacob Blake, who was shot in the back by police as he entered his SUV in front of his children over the weekend. What I saw in that video makes me sick, Biden said. But Biden denounced the violence that has unfolded as part of demonstrations in Kenosha in recent days. A young man was arrested on Wednesday after 2 people were fatally shot in Kenosha on Tuesday night. President Trump said he's sending the National Guard into the city following 3 days of protests that include buildings being set on fire and businesses being destroyed. Burning down communities is not protest, it's needless violence, Biden said. Violence that endangers lives. Violence that guts businesses and shutters businesses that serve the community. That's wrong. I'm gonna real quick talk about something. Talk about my thoughts on that. So first of all, Kyle Rittenhouse, the kid that ended up doing the shooting, I watched multiple videos. It appears that the first incident of shooting happened as a man charged at him while he was in the midst of some cars. It appeared to me that the man was unarmed. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 9 times. One of those, it appears to have struck the man in the head and was fatal. Kyle then decides that he's going to flee the scene after calling someone. I don't know if he called the police. I don't know if he called a family member, but you could hear him saying, "I killed somebody." So he flees the scene. People chase him. They trip him up. He shoots somebody in the chest after getting hit in the head with a skateboard, and I believe that it's the man that hit him in the head with a skateboard that was ended up being fatally killed, and another man got shot in the arm. Okay? So the argument that it was self-defense is a valid argument, except for a couple things. I'm not a lawyer, but I do research. Okay, so according to Wisconsin, it is illegal to carry a long rifle if you are under the age of 18. Except for in cases like if you're hunting, and hunting humans doesn't count as hunting. Okay, so let's get over that part. Kyle Rittenhouse came from Illinois and drove to Wisconsin, transporting his gun across those state lines, carrying that weapon illegally across state lines to join an unsanctioned militia in Wisconsin. So, according to Wisconsin law, if you wanna claim self-defense, you cannot be in commission of a crime while doing so. That's according to the Wisconsin statutes on self-defense. So I don't know how the case is going to end up. The kid should have never been there in the first place, and if he in particular was not there, then those people that were killed would not be dead. Those are facts. Okay? However partisan you want to be about it, the law is the law. If you're going to claim the law, if you're going to follow a president who says love and order, then you're going to have to follow the law. Okay? We are not in the Wild West. Vigilante mobs aren't the way of the present. Okay, that's not where we are. Another thing is this: we had the opportunity to handle some of these issues when Kyle Kaepernick was taking a knee, and we decided to vilify him for it. We decided to say that he was unpatriotic and didn't care about our country because he was kneeling during the national anthem. Well, now what's happening is an extension of that. When people see that peaceful protests do not work, they will take to the streets because they have no other recourse. People aren't thinking about the businesses that they're destroying. They're thinking about how angry and hurt that the government that they're supposed to rely on, that the government that they think is supposed to have their best issues, is not taking care of them. And that's where we are. This would have never happened. Republicans accuse Democrats of things Republicans have done. This is 50% right, 50% left. I'm going to go with the right because the left happens to have a paywall and I don't feel like paying for it. The lack of a huge boisterous audience appears to have taken a toll on the Republican National Convention and Democratic National Convention. Both suffered a drop of viewers during their respective events, primarily due to production restrictions imposed by the coronavirus pandemic. On opening night last week, the Democratic version drew 19.7 million viewers, according to Nielsen Media Research, a 28% drop compared to the opening night in 2016. Republicans' first night offering garnered 17 million on Monday, which also constituted a 28% drop. Not everyone was happy with Fox News. White House advisor Brad Parscale cited the network for breaking away from the convention itself on opening night just as Turning Point founder Charlie Kirk began to speak. Good. Have you ever seen their memes? They're like half-truths and nonsense. Fuck Charlie Kirk. Pardon my language. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that it's all a shit show, and the DNC was attack Trump, but not provide primary sources, and the RNC was lie about accomplishments that never happened, make claims that MS-13 is going to move in next door, lie, with no fact checking in the major sources. What is going on? Get it together. GOP policies are shortening American lives. I'm going to have to go with HuffPost on this one because alternate costs money. I support our media, I guess. I just don't want to pay for every single media source at the moment. And one of the most alarming trends in recent history, the American lifespan is getting shorter. For decades, the United States tracked the progress of other developed countries as advances in nutrition, medicine, and healthcare added years to the average life expectancy. Starting about 10 years ago, that progress stalled in the U.S. People in other wealthy countries kept living longer and longer, but Americans plateaued. In 2014, American life expectancy fell backward for the first time in 21 years. U.S. lifespan slid lower for another 3 years straight before barely ticking upward in 2018. The backward slide has set off one of the most important debates in epidemiology. What's happening? Explanations range from America's semi-privatized medical system to its higher rates of sedentary lifestyles to deaths of despair among poor rural whites. This month, a team of epidemiologists, physicians, and political scientists published a study that found an even simpler explanation. Republicans. Conservative policies, the researchers found, are the driving force behind America's declining lifespans. Across a huge range of issues, the more liberal version of state policies predicts longer life expectancy, and the conservative version predicts shorter life expectancy, said Jennifer Karras Montez, a sociologist at Syracuse University, and the study's lead author. Passing tougher regulations on tobacco and guns while enhancing labor rights and pay could extend U.S. life expectancy by as much as 2.8 years for women and 2.1 years for men. Man, 2.1. Our findings are very powerful and very consistent, Montez said. The study illuminates the choice before Americans in 2020 election. While the Republican Party has declined to release a national policy platform for the next 4 years, the GOP currently holds 29 state legislators and 26 governorships and has spent decades enacting its preferred policies in conservative states. Over the last decade, a growing body of research has found that these policies are negatively affecting the health of constituents. In a 2017 study, researchers discovered that U.S. states with less income inequality, larger tax credits for the poor workers, and higher cigarette taxes had lower disability rates. According to a 2006 report, countries that spend more on early childhood education have better outcomes on a wide range of health measures, from smoking rates to cognitive development to crime rates. You have to look into the primary sources on those articles yourself. Okay? I don't have time for that. Tucker Carlson defends vigilante shooter, says he had to maintain order when no one else would. I covered most of this already, in my opinions. So Fox News host Tucker Carlson, I don't know why they highlight his name so ridiculously, is standing by the vigilante teen accused of fatally shooting 2 people and injuring another during a Kenosha, Wisconsin protest Tuesday night. Okay. On Tucker Carlson tonight, Wednesday, the talk show host appeared to justify Rittenhouse's actions, saying it's understandable given violence and chaos in the city. We do know why it happened, though. Kenosha devolved into anarchy because the authorities abandoned the people. Those in charge, from the governor on down, refused to enforce the law. They stood back and watched Kenosha burn. Are we really surprised that looting and arson accelerated to murder? Obviously, that leaves out the fact that the kid should have never been there in the first place. He came from out of state to be there. When you know that the unrest is happening and you're carrying an assault rifle and AR-15 to that unrest, it's not surprising to expect that somebody's going to get shot. Okay? Defending the kid for what he did is an incorrect stance to take, in my opinion, because he should have never been there in the first place. The end. He should have never been carrying a gun in the first place. The end. He can't serve in the military. He shouldn't be policing the streets. The end. Anyway, I'm at WIKWEKO on Twitter, IndigenousPatriot.com. Let me know what you think. If you enjoy, please share. Subscribe to my YouTube. I would appreciate it. See how long this one was. 16 minutes. I'm going to get some flack from that one.